The gym was mercifully empty. Gareth got on one of the two stationary bicycles and started pedaling at a gentle pace. The bicycle was a relatively recent Muggle invention, quite noisy but effective. So noisy that he didn't hear when someone else entered the gym. He only realized that he wasn't alone when someone got on the bicycle next to him. Agrius Malfoy gave him a curt nod and turned to face the white wall at the front of the room as he started pedaling alongside Gareth. Gareth tried to ignore Agrius's presence. There was nothing weird about it. Agrius must have been having trouble sleeping too. Or maybe he always hits the gym after midnight. Or maybe the time zone was messing with him. Or maybe... Agrius increased the pedaling speed. He didn't glance at Gareth at all. He didn't need to. He knew he was going faster. Gareth increased his pedaling speed. Just a little faster than Agrius's. Agrius noticed and did the same thing, pedaling a little faster than Gareth, and silently waiting for Gareth to match him. Gareth glanced over and saw a slight smirk on Agrius's lips. Gareth shook his head, and fought his own smile while pedaling even faster. They kept on this way, caught in silent battle, until they were both testing the limits of their bicycles. They were cycling at a sprint pace for far longer than was comfortable, and Gareth's entire body was burning in protest. But he didn't want to stop, or even slow down, until Agrius did. But Agrius showed no signs of quitting. They kept up that pace for another minute or two, and Gareth finally slammed his hand on the emergency stop button and stumbled off. He leaned against the back wall, gasping for breath, before sliding down to sit on the floor. Agrius stopped his own machine and was holding onto the handlebars for support.
Bloody hell.
Gareth wheezed. Agrius laughed and set himself on the floor against the wall, facing Gareth. Agrius's gray, sleeveless shirt was soaked through with sweat. They both sat with their legs sprawled out in front of them. Agrius's sneakers were almost touching Gareth's ankle. Agrius ran a hand through his damp hair in a move that was captivating. Agrius was so masculine. Gareth was baby-faced, short and freckled all over. Agrius was almost exactly the same age as him, but he looked like he had crossed over a magical line to adulthood. Gareth quickly turned his gaze to the floor, and hoped the flush from the exercise covered his blushing.
It's been a bloody circus today, huh?
Agrius said.
Yeah, totally.
Gareth chuckled.
Everything you dreamed of?
Asked Agrius. Gareth looked him dead in the eye.
Almost.
Agrius grinned.
Sorry I ruined your big day.
Sod off.
Gareth chuckled.
The sportswear is nice, yes? Soft against your skin.
Agrius held back a laugh.
Feels incredible.
Gareth replied, then asked.
Want to feel the fabric?
Agrius nodded and crawled teasingly in Gareth's direction, then sat next to him and ran his fingers up and down Gareth's shorts. This left Gareth totally flabbergasted. Agrius finally said,
It's not soft. You lied, Weasley. It's actually really hard.
Gareth couldn't believe what just happened. It was like the air in the room had thickened. Everything inside Gareth was buzzing and on edge, like he was about to jump out of a flying carriage that had been attacked by a dragon. He didn't know if Agrius was just messing with him, but in that moment, Gareth wanted something. He couldn't even name it. Gareth wanted Agrius to touch him again. Gareth wanted to touch him back. Maybe Gareth wanted to kiss him. Gareth scrambled to his feet and said,
I'm going to bed. I guess I'll see you around, right?
Agrius looked up at him from the floor and replied,
You will be seeing plenty of me.
Gareth nodded and left the room as fast as he could. He waited until he was back in his room before he let himself freak out.
What in Godric's name was that?
He said out loud. He wasn't... For the rest of his life, Gareth Weasley will have to live with the fact that his very first time at the gym ended with Agrius Malfoy's hand on his shorts. Chapter 3. December 1892. Devon. Agrius was staying at a hotel. His roommate was down the hall, along with half the team, celebrating New Year's Eve. Agrius just wanted to be alone. There was no mistaking that Devon was Gareth Weasley's home county. It was Gareth Weasley mania here. His face and his freckles were everywhere. Newspapers, magazines, banners, billboards, painted on the side of buildings. Of course, Devon was as inoffensive and bland as Gareth Weasley was. Their teams hadn't played each other yet, and they likely wouldn't before the gold medal game. It would be a real bummer if it didn't end up being Gryffindor and Slytherin in the finals.
Happy New Year.
Agrius muttered to himself. He could hear fireworks outside and his teammates cheering in the rooms around him. He no longer wanted to be alone, but he didn't want to join his teammates. He wanted to go down to the hotel gym and find Gareth Weasley on a bicycle. But Gareth Weasley wasn't staying at this hotel. Gareth Weasley was probably ringing in the new year with friends and family in his perfect home county that loved him so very, very much. That night in the hotel gym in Massachusetts, 6 months ago, Agrius had put himself in evidence. The thing is, so did Gareth. And Agrius felt it in his hand.
Those were really nice shorts.
Agrius muttered to himself and bit his lower lip. Agrius could buy any piece of clothing he wanted. He had no reason to obsess over a pair of shorts. Anyway, Slytherin was undefeated in the league so far. Gryffindor was also undefeated. Only one team would stay that way until the end. Agrius had more important things to think about than a pair of shorts, and the person wearing them. He just couldn't get those thoughts out of his head. Gareth couldn't have been happier that the gold medal game was being held in his home county. He had spent Christmas with his family and New Year's with his teammates at the hotel. His dad and Aunt Matilda had been at every game, as usual, and he had been able to visit with loads of friends. He'd been in a great mood for the holidays, and he'd been playing outstanding Quidditch. And now it was the night before the gold medal game, and Gryffindor would be facing Slytherin for the second year in a row. And Gareth would be facing Agrius Malfoy. He hadn't seen Agrius at all for the entire Christmas holidays. The Gryffindor and Slytherin teams had been practicing at different stadiums and staying in separate hotels. He hadn't forgotten the way it had felt when Agrius had brushed his fingers against his shorts in that hotel gym 6 months ago. Surely it was just adrenaline, the afterglow of the thrill of competition, when they had been sprawled out on the floor after pushing their bodies as hard as they could on the stationary bicycles. He had been tired and confused, and his brain had just turned all of that into something ridiculous. Surely Malfoy was only trying to ridicule him with the way he touched him. Anything for a laugh. Sounds like Malfoy, all right. So Gareth had gone back to life as usual after that night. It was the start of the gold medal game, with Agrius and Gareth hunched over in the face-off position.
Are you getting tired of second place?
Asked Agrius and smirked.
I'm winning this game.
Gareth growled.
How so? Did you bring your lucky shorts?
Agrius winked at him. Gareth's face flushed. He channeled all that energy to win the face-off, and he made sure he was exactly where he needed to be to throw the quaffle through the Slytherin's hoop 40 seconds later. And he made sure they won that game.